I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today I wanted to talk about a question that I got about this person wanted to know how they deal with the reward of alcohol. You know, they sort of felt that alcohol allowed them to check out, right? And this person said that they were aware of the poison, right? That it was a poison, that they were aware of the damage that it was causing. And at the end of the day, when they finished work, they came home to their family, and they had to deal with their family as well, right? And then at the end of it, once the day was finished, they could sit down and check out with the alcohol, right? They could, finish the day off or that kind of thing, right? You know, this person said that they understood all the other tips on meditation and mindfulness and taking hot baths and all that kind of stuff, right? But they liked the feeling that alcohol gave them, and they were afraid of the consequences of that, right? That's exactly where I was. It's exactly where everybody is. They like the feeling, otherwise you wouldn't do it, right? There's nobody that doesn't like the feeling, because it satisfies the urge, it satisfies the craving, it satisfies the conflict. Once you get to a certain stage and you need alcohol, most people don't get to this stage. Most people are dependent on alcohol because it's a drug, right? Once you get to the stage that you understand that you're dependent on it, right, and that you need it for a certain thing in your life, then there is a conflict then, and that conflict is really you wanting to drink because you like the way the drink makes you feel, and not wanting to drink because you don't like the way alcohol makes you feel afterwards, right? Or you don't like the psychological consequences of your drinking, right? You don't like thinking about yourself as being addicted to anything, or as having a problem with anything, right? All these kind of things, right, go through your mind, and you don't like the idea of the consequences in the future if you carry on drinking because it's a drug, right? Think about this from the perspective of if it was heroin that you were doing, right? And if at the end of the day, and there are people that do this, right? So don't think that there are not. Alcohol has been proven to be just as dangerous, if not more dangerous. It causes more physical harm to you, alcohol does, than heroin does, right? If I'm thinking about this right, the only physical damage that heroin causes you, right, is constipation, right? Long-term constipation. It can give you long-term constipation. Now, I know there's physical damage caused by the method of taking, right? You've got needle tracks, there's a danger of catching all sorts of diseases through the needles. This is all through the method, right? It's not through the actual drug itself. If the drug is administered properly, if it's a clean drug with no adulterants, right, this is what happens, right? And a lot of people say, well, there's physical damage in your brain, right? Your brain changes. Your brain changes with alcohol. Your brain changes with playing the piano, right? Your brain changes with everything that you do in your life. Your brain adapts. This is what it is, neuroplasticity, right? So heroin is less harmful to you than alcohol. This is what I'm saying. And there's anybody who is telling you the truth will tell you that, right? Look on the internet and you probably won't find much about it, in all fairness, right? There's a guy in England that a doctor, and he's a group of many doctors who are trying to bring down the influence of big alcohol companies and alcohol market and all that kind of stuff in England. In the UK is a fellow called David Nutt, N-U-T-T, and they've proven, right, through a lot of research that the most harmful drug is heroin by far, or is alcohol by far, right? It's where on a scale of 1 to 100, heroin sits around the middle. It sits around, I think it was 45 or 50 or something like that in the middle. Heroin or alcohol is up there in the 70s, right? In terms of physical damage, right? So I'm just saying, imagine yourself if you switched out alcohol for heroin, right? Would you be saying the same thing? You know, would you be saying to yourself, well, yeah, I just use heroin to check out in the evening, and you know, it's my way of getting my little buzz, and I enjoy the buzz, and you know, would you be saying the same thing with cigarettes? You know, people enjoy a cigarette. When I was smoking, I used to enjoy a cigarette. That was why, one of the reasons why I didn't stop. It took me a long time to stop, and I tell you, that was hard for me to stop. You know, psychologically hard. And they say that a lot of people are saying that quitting cigarettes is more difficult than quitting heroin. You know, that the addiction is a lot stronger. You know, this is all a mindset. You know, so, you know, would you be thinking about this in any other way? We're programmed to think about alcohol as being a relaxation thing. You know, there's adverts on all the time. You know, most of the marketing is focused around those aspects of alcohol, you know, it being relaxing or being sociable or whatever it is. You know, these are well thought out pieces of propaganda that are made with the sole purpose of getting you to use as much alcohol as possible, right? To drink their brand of alcohol, but in essence to use as much alcohol as possible. I think a much better way of doing this is to think about the reasons why you actually want to check out. You know, why, you know, check out to me sort of says, well, you want to get the day over and done with, and you want to sort of put yourself into a non-thinking stage, you know. And I understand that as well. I'm not saying that I don't. I mean, that was part of the whole thing. But for me, drinking was a part of that. Drinking was a part of the problem. I drank to forget, to check out, because, simply, I didn't want to think about the problem, you know. Drinking was causing me a problem, but I didn't want to think about the problem, so I drank alcohol to stifle the problem. It's a sad, vicious cycle, and it only goes downwards, because the more you do this, the more alcohol you need, the more of a problem you have. And as you say, you're scared about the consequences. So, you know, as I say, I understand where you're coming from. I mean, I get it. But even though you might not think that this is one of the reasons why you're drinking, to overcome the fear, to beat back the fear, I guarantee you that, because a lot of it is underlying. It's a psychological thing. It's a subconscious thought process that as soon as it starts bubbling to the surface, as soon as you start thinking about it, then you have the tool on hand to make you stop thinking about it, right? Once you take that tool out of the equation and you refuse to do that anymore, and you stop doing it, once you take that, you know, as it's not an alternative anymore, right? To forget about your problems, you know, to get wasted, to check out, right? You can't do that. Then you have to confront the issue. And once you confront the issue, then your superb human brain, right? This is the most complex piece of kit that we know about. It's the most complex, calculating, and I don't want to call it a machine but yeah, it's the best analogy that I can come up with now, but you know what I mean. Your brain starts to kick in and your brain starts to figure out things slowly but surely. Your brain starts to go over it, and I'm telling you, there is such a lift of the burden, and you don't realize how much of a burden this thing is. I'm telling you, when I say it like this now, it's just, I think back and it's bringing me back to those days, and fuck me, that was dark, you know. And you know, you don't actually realize how dark it is until you're out the other side, till you get there and you realize how much of a weight that was on your shoulders. We're not designed for that, you know. We're designed to whatever, you know, to go through life dealing with problems as they come up, you know, not trying to hide these problems and repress them. And that's all alcohol ever does, is repress the issues, repress anything that you don't want to handle, you handle with alcohol, and it's just not a great tool at all, you know. So you have to think about the bigger picture, right? Don't just look at alcohol as being that momentary solution to any problem, because it's not. It's never going to be a solution. You know, all it's going to do is bring about more shit. You know, as you said yourself, you know it's a poison, you know it's a toxin, you know that it's doing you damage. So if you know this, if you know that you're drinking because you're scared, you know, you have to do something about it. It's like the same thing as, you know, if I was a doctor and you come into me and you said, look, I'm 50 kilograms overweight, right? And I started talking to you and conversing with you, and you tell me that your favorite food is pizza, right? 4-cheese pizza. And I say, well, why are you eating this 4-cheese pizza? And you go, well, I know it's making me fat. I know it's clogging up my cholesterol and clogging up my arteries, and now it's playing havoc with my cholesterol. I know that it could lead me to diabetes, to heart failure, to early death, and I know that it's packing on the pounds and it's making my life difficult, blah blah blah, right? But I like the taste of 4-cheese pizza. You know, what does that sound like? You know, is your doctor going to go, well, yeah, fair enough, you know, if you like the taste, then, you know, think about it. Think about when, you know, you have a few children, right? I know you have children because you told me, right? Think about when your child comes up to you and he goes, Mommy, I want to have Coca-Cola. Now, I don't know if you give your kid Coke or not, but it's 10 o'clock at night and you know fine well that the Coca-Cola is going to keep the kid up half the night, right? So you don't give it to him and you say, no, you can't have it. And the kid turns around and says, but I like the taste. I like the way it makes me feel. And you look at the kid and go, I don't care what you like, you know. You're not getting it. You know, it's bad for you. It's not good for you. It's blah, blah. You know, or any number of things that your child comes out and says to you, well, I want this, I want that, I want the other. And their reasoning is because they like the way it makes them feel, regardless of the consequences. You know how, you know, do I need to spell it out how childish that sounds? Like I say, I've been there. I've been through all that, right? And it's an excuse. You know, and you can do this to yourself all, you know, throughout your life. You can carry on doing this to yourself. You can carry on making this excuse. Well, I like the taste. I like the way it makes me feel. But you have to dig down into the reasons why you like the way it makes you feel, why you like to check out, you know. And, you know, for me, I like to check out because I didn't like the person that I was becoming. I didn't like the person that I was becoming because of the choices that I was making. And one of those choices was drinking the alcohol, right? And eating shit food because I was drinking alcohol, or whatever it was just the lifestyle. It was all the rituals that I was bringing into my life, all the behaviors, all the habits. It was a mental thinking of, I would rather have the fleeting, temporary buzz right now, right, of anything, right, of whatever it was, right? And there's a lot of things out there that are tempting, that are offering you that quick fix, right? Whether it's alcohol or food or whatever it is, right? And it only leads to problems because it is a fleeting thing, right? Drinking will get you pissed now, but you suffer the consequences in the morning, and you suffer the consequences for the rest of your life, right? Food is the same thing. You taste it as it's going in, but once it's gone past your taste buds, it's gone. The feeling is gone. But the fat that it's putting into your body lasts for, for how long, I mean, you eat shit like that, right? And I'm telling you, it goes on 10 times quicker than it comes off, and with a lot, 100 times easier it goes on than it comes off. So all I'm saying is that you have to start thinking about all these things from the perspective of, am I making a mature adult decision about this? Am I thinking about this from an adult perspective, right? So anyway, leave a comment down below, let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already. There's daily videos here, so just come to the channel and I'll be slapping up a new video every single day. Come on over to the website alcoholmastery.com and sign up for the newsletter you'll see it on page 1. Just go to alcoholmastery.com and it should be at the top of the page there. There's a free course with it, so you can get that. Until next time, stay safe, keep the alcohol out your mouth, and I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Onwards and upwards.